Earth Science again. It's Norris Teaches Science with me, Mr. Norris, another Earth Science Edition video. This video is still in the section of meteorology. If you haven't watched those videos, go watch the other ones. If you haven't watched any of the videos, I'm glad you came for this one. Maybe go check out some of the other ones, learn a little bit more about Earth Science. Today, we're going to talk about weather maps. And the video goal for today is I can discuss the different symbols on a weather map and what they mean. So, to be honest, after this, you should be able to watch the news and know what those symbols mean and be like, oh, we got rain coming. All right. So when we talk about weather maps, we're going to talk about something called fronts. A front is a boundary where two air masses meet. And there's four main types of fronts out there. Warm fronts, cold fronts, stationary fronts, and occluded fronts. So let's talk about a warm front real quick. A warm front is when warm air pushes up over cold air. So you have warm air, you have cold air, warm front comes in, it's pushing over. Usually when this happens, you have light to moderate rain. The temperatures do rise in the area when a warm front comes. Now, if you look on the weather map and you're looking for a warm front, you're going to see that you're looking for a red line with semicircles on one side. The semicircles show what direction that the motion is happening. But if you're looking for a red semicircle, a red line with red semicircles extended on one side. A cold front is when cold, dense air moves into a region occupied by the warm air. The warm air is pushed over because warm air is less dense than cold air. Usually, when this happens, you get thunderstorms. The temperature does drop as a cold front comes through. Temperatures drop when a cold front comes through. If you're looking on a weather map, you're looking for a line, a blue line or a line with triangles on one side. Now, if it's not a colored map, you're looking for a line with the triangles on one side. And those triangles tell the direction that the warm front is moving. Stationary front. Stationary front is kind of like what the word stationary means. It does not move. Usually there's gentle to moderate rain, and it could rain for days. Days. Not constantly, but it could rain off and on for a couple days. When you're looking at a colored weather map, you would see it's a alternating blue red line. One side is going to have the semicircles in red, the other side is going to have the triangles in blue. Now, if it's not a colored weather map, it's looking for the alternating half semicircle, triangle, half semicircle, triangle, semicircle, triangle line on a weather map. And the other front is called an occluded front. This is when a cold front overtakes a warm front. And when the overtaking happens, there's usually a lot of rain. Right? It means the warm front was moving really slow and the cold front was moving much faster and overtook it. And so the symbol, you can see that right here, is what alternating purple triangle and purple semicircles on one side. And that would be an occluded front. Now you can also look on maps and you see what air pressure systems. Remember, air pressure is caused by the unequal heating of the earth, and there's two types of air pressure systems: high pressure and low pressure. Remember, winds go from high to low. So high pressure systems, there's a clockwise motion, and usually when you have a high pressure system, you're going to have fair weather conditions. It means it's going to be really nice days. You really want them in spring and summer, so those are days with sunshine and you can go outside. We also call these anticyclones, and when you look at a weather map, it's going to be a blue H, or if there's no color, it's just an H. If you notice, it goes in a clockwise motion and the air is going down. High pressure, that's high pressure system. Low pressure systems, kind of opposite. They go in counterclockwise motion. They usually bring stormy weathers. We also call them cyclones. That would be a red L or an L on the weather map, and also the air is extending. If you've ever heard of a hurricane, hurricanes are low pressure systems. So when you also look at a weather map, sometimes they show what we call isobars. And isobars are lines that connect areas of equal pressure. So if you look on this map here, we're going to make some isobars. So we're going to start right here. Here's all these pressures, say 1024. So you connect them and they create a line. Then we do the next one. Then I see this one. And then I see this right there. All right. Here's some more. They all say 1012 and 1008. And you can look here and actually label your high and low pressures. This is high because it has a higher number than over here. So high pressure, low pressure. So your wind's going to go from high to low. Now, closely spaced isobars means that they're really close to each other. They're going to have high winds, and that means there's a steep pressure gradient. When they're widely spaced, it's a weak pressure gradient, so you're going to have light winds. The thing about isobars, you cannot cross lines. So I can't go from 116 here across everything to get to over here because you cannot cross it like that. You have to go around. Things have to connect and kind of like oddly shaped circles. You also have isotherms. They're kind of like isobars, but they deal with temperature. And you can kind of see here some here, and so I'm going to connect the 50s. And then I'm going to connect 50s. Then I'm going to connect the 60s. And here's 62 there. So it's done the same way. And sometimes they can show where the different air masses are. So sometimes you get a weather map that has these symbols here. So the circle here will indicate cloud cover, how much of the sky is clouds. The line below it will give wind direction, and it will change depending on the wind. This is saying the wind's coming from the south. The lines coming off of it will tell you wind speed, and I'm going to show you on the next slide how to read them. You're going to have the city listed here, and you're going to have your pressure. And it just depends on what they're using for pressure. They're using millibars here. You're going to have your temperature. You're going to have your present weather symbol, and you're going to have your dew point. Now, it just depends on the symbol here, what's going on. So remember, it's a nice little comma here. That's where you have to look here. A comma would mean that the present weather is a drizzle. If you notice, we also had 2/10 to 3/10 cloud cover. Then down here shows wind speed so that you can figure out all the stuff about that weather station. Now, with the newer technology, we can just go over to weather.com or some weather app, type in the city name, and you can figure it out that way. But sometimes you have to revert back to old methods, especially when you don't have internet or your phone's dead, stuff like that. But this is a little bit about weather maps and how to read them. I hope you learned a little bit something today. This stuff will come back in when you talk more about severe weather and everything else in meteorology. But I'm Mr. Norris, and I'm out for this video.